of the strongest, if not the strongest, crypto community on Twitter. So I think it's amazing how involved and how much of a leader you are to them and how much they actually respect you and what you're doing.
Yeah, it is. In my experience in dealing with different communities and being involved in different projects, even as just a holder, not even a developer, I would say hands down that this community, the Saitama community in Wolfpack, is the strongest community I've ever been a part of, the strongest community I've ever seen from a developer or from just a holder. It blows my mind every day. And it shows, the community strength and the backing of this project. It's a direct reflection of how successful we are. Myself and the other developers, we could work around the clock, but, without any kind of actual backing and a community supporting the project, like we would not get anywhere. We surely wouldn't have gotten as far as we have so far without, 36,000 people backing us up.
Yeah, most definitely. I was actually brought onto your project by Mr. Diamond Hands. I did a live with him about a week and a half ago, and he just completely sold me on the project. And I got in and I realized how amazing the community was and how amazing your project is. And I'm really happy to be a part of the Wolfpack now.
Yeah, that's our neighborhood reverend. So if you guys don't know, he holds sermons once a week underneath the old maple tree. So we'll have to get him out and give us some words of wisdom. It's always good to hear him. And it's funny because he used to come on our AMAs. Like you guys know, we do AMAs every Friday. He'd come on our voice chat and do AMAs. That's how he kind of adopted the reverend niche because feel like I'm getting baptized every time I hear him speak. But yeah, no. So and it's people like that that's in the community that's passionate about what we're doing. And he shares the same perspective as the other 36,000 people in the community. So which is great.
Most definitely. What do you think you are most excited about Saitama and what's to come?
So we have a lot of really awesome opportunities that are coming up, things that we've already done, things that you guys have been filled in on, some of these partnerships and collaborations that we've been creating. I don't think there's really one specific thing. I mean, I am pretty excited about the education part of it because that's a lot of what we are and how we kind of got started in this. So you guys saw our press release to where we're signed a multi-year deal with BlazeFire Games. And if you look into it a little bit more, you'll see that their direct connection is with Perion, which is another subsidiary that offers courses and college classes through a lot of them through the HBCU universities in the U.S.
Wow.
So we're going to be collaborating with them as well to create content, educational content that's strictly crypto-based onto their platform and made readily available to faculty, to staff, to the general public. So that in itself is going to largely broadcast cryptocurrency and Saitama at the same time because that's our brand and our brand will be there. But it'll offer education aspect to everybody, on a global scale, not just strictly to those universities. But if we can get the content out there and if we can make people feel comfortable and more educated about crypto, they'll be more adapted to want to invest. Of course, we want them to invest in Saitama, but just the more money that we can get circulating in crypto in general, I mean, we all win. Because right now, there is a significant amount of money in the crypto system, but it's a very fraction of what could be. The percentage of people that are invested in crypto is still very, very small. So if we can get more people in there, obviously the more money circulates and, Saitama wins, every other currency wins, we can grow as a whole. So education, of course, is something that we're passionate about, and it's a good, large project that we're working on. But we're also getting heavily involved in esports and gaming. So we're developing, games for part of our platform. The SATA wallet, of course, launching in November. That's a huge thing. We're going to have a massive venue. That's going to be a worldwide event. It'll probably be streamed, a million times over. We'll have a lot of people there. We'll have a lot of, news outlets and A-listers, and it's going to be a huge event. So that's something in the very near future that I'm excited about, of course. And the tech and the deployment of the tech, which is going to be revolutionary in itself. So, like I said, it's really hard to just dictate one specific thing, but these are just a few things that come to mind right off the bat that we're working on. Of course, that will be revolutionary for us.
Right. I think that's awesome how you talked about trying to educate people because I personally, like a year ago, was very put off by cryptocurrency. You see so much FUD and bad things about crypto on the news, and it really drives people away from investing and actually doing their own research. So I think it's great for Saitama and cryptocurrency in general that you guys are going to be working towards educating people and actually giving them the resources they need to make the best decision for themselves to actually being invested in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, absolutely. And crypto gets a bad rap, all over the place, not just in the DeFi world when we're dealing with all these rug pulls and scam tokens, but just in general, I feel it gets a bad rap because we're not governed by the SEC. So there's not, there's an insurance liability, and people feel that their money isn't safe. Uh, Not that it's any safer sitting in a bank because I had my money taken 3 times this year already, and it's been secured away in my bank. Right, so I don't. But the difference between that is, it's backed and it has, there's laws and regulations in place to protect your assets, and there isn't as much obviously in the crypto space, but the times are changing drastically, so I don't see it being much longer to where there's a lot more governance and structure involved in cryptocurrency regulations and taxation. So once these things kind of take place, there will be a worldwide adaptation to crypto, and I think that everybody involved with it now is going to reap the benefits because this is going to come as a tidal wave. And if you look now, in what month, September, as opposed to where we were maybe in January, uh, there's so much more marketing involved in crypto now, especially with NFTs. You can't even watch a commercial or an ad anywhere without seeing something for Coinbase or Robinhood or for some kind of NFT or for esports and e-commerce. Like, it's everywhere. And that's just in the short period of 6 months because, like I said, in January, you didn't see any of that anywhere. So, we're at a turning point. And it's a really exciting time for crypto in general, more specifically for Saitama, just because of the venues and the things that we have going on that are very unique that nobody's doing.
Most definitely. And I think it's amazing how you guys have been able to accomplish so many partnerships and get so many big names in Saitama just in a few months. Can you tell me about some of the big names that are in Saitama currently?
Yeah, so we have so a lot of guys that you guys probably saw last night, like the professor came on. I spoke with him last night, and he's been kind of interested in getting involved a little bit in Saitama. We have a lot of Hall of Fame basketball players that I've announced. Some I haven't yet. Some I will. Current NBA players as well that we haven't announced officially yet because we have to go through their agents first. We have to do it legally. We have to have non-disclosures in place. We need to have their agent sign off on it. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of these guys can't even, go to the bathroom without having their agent hold their hand and tell them that it's okay. And so that's kind of where we're at right now with some of these current players, and that's just in the NBA. But we have, some other NFL players, some people on the pro tour and golf. We have a lot of current and retired big name, athletes that we're working with now, and we're doing a lot of NFT stuff for them, which is great. But they're also holders and they're also involved in Saitama. So what they do and what anyone does, if you're involved in something that you're passionate about and something that you're successful in, what do? You tell the person next to you, you're like, hey, I invested in Saitama 2 weeks ago and now I'm up 100%. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to look at it, they're like, wow, it's a good gain on your money. It's a good return on your investment. Uh, I bought stock 2 years ago in Apple when I made $50, and this dude's over here making 12 grand in 2 weeks. So, it's things like that are contagious. So bringing in a lot of these big names introduces us to a very specific group of people that have a fair amount of money and, more importantly, influence in their group of people. So it's kind of like a waterfall effect. And you start bringing these people in, they tell their group of friends, and we're literally 1 or 2 calls away, like Mr. Thompson said on his streams, we're 1 or 2 calls away from literally reaching any single person and that we want. Some very large celebrities in the entertainment business, singers. We're negotiating contracts now with entertainers, like people in the rap business, other performing artists, Olympic people in the Olympics, this recent gold medal winners in the last Olympics. UFC, I had a conversation with the gentleman today about the UFC. We're going to get involved more in the UFC. We're going to sponsor some pay-per-view events. There's just so many different things that we're working on. And the things that I've told you guys is things that I have solidified that are written in stone that I'm comfortable in sharing. As I get this information, I roll it out to you guys. And I can tell you that we have, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, some of these things that we're, given to you guys so far. The rest of it, is just amazing. It's incredible. And this is all stuff that's been developing over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So once we really start to solidify these contracts and handle everything from the business side, we can make more information public, and then we'll, of course, market it. But we want to make sure that we're doing it the proper way.
Right. It's very important to do things by the book, just because the SEC has been getting so involved with like Coinbase and stuff. So you really want to do things legally. But I think that's awesome. You have so many different big names. And as you said, when someone makes money off of something, they tell their friends, and it's just a chain effect. And you're going to reach so many more people. I think we're going to be at a $1 billion market cap very soon.
Oh yeah, it's coming. I'm still sticking to it. The end of September will be at a 1 billion market cap. And so I see, just real quick, I keep seeing a lot of people are asking always about the Netflix stuff. So I just address that also real quick. So we're not under contract with Netflix, but we are looking at a partnership and doing some things with Netflix with some of the retired players associations, the MAGA series tied into our gaming platform, because our game, obviously you guys have seen a little bit of the preview where it's more anime based, the Wolfcaster and Sata Studios. So looking to develop and implement like a MAGA series on Netflix that's based around the Wolfcaster series, because it will be a series, not just like a single platform game. And I can tell you that the people that are looking to develop our Wolfcaster game are some of the biggest names in the industry. And those names were brought to us on a silver platter. So that's going to be huge. Like, we're not having, kids in their basement develop this thing. They're very, very high tech, and people that are very savvy, and big names, people that very well. So that's the Netflix thing. And that's, like I said, that's just one small piece of the puzzle compared to like what we're doing and what we're going to do. Yeah. So we'll have just about everybody, and pretty much anybody who's anybody we have access to. It's just a matter of finding a niche so we can work together to find a collaboration that works for both parties. So if we're wanting to get, for example, like a Tyler Perry, he's got more money than he knows what to do with. So how do we approach that? How do we make it a win-win scenario? Because we obviously win bringing in big names like that. That's a win for us. How do they win? Are they going to invest in Saitama and turn their $400 billion into 420 billion? I'm like, we have to find and approach these things delicately to make it work so everyone feels like they walk away happy. Whether that's collaborating with their network or their charity, or are we sponsoring a significant event? It's very unique, and it's a dynamic that we have to approach carefully. But those connections are there. Conversations are had. It's just a matter of putting the pieces in place and making sure that we're jumping all these legal hurdles to get there. As a registered business, we have to take things very cautiously, especially when we're talking about naming and branding and all these things, because we will be a multi-billion-dollar business several years from now. So we don't want to have these repercussions haunt us down the road where,
Right.
oh, you posted a picture of me on Twitter in 2021 and I didn't sign an agreement giving you the rights to use my name. Guess what? Now I'm taking you to court for a $10 billion lawsuit because they know we're a multi-billion-dollar company. And these things happen every day. So we need to be cognizant of that now so we don't have these issues moving forward.
Right. Someone's asking in the chat if you have to hold Saitama to use the Saitamask.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what's gonna drive our price up, right? So we're gonna increase holders, we're gonna increase use case, obviously. But if you want to use the SATA wallet and you want to use all of its functions and use the swap function and use the NFT creator, if you want to use the gaming platform or the marketplace, you're going to have to own some Saitama. That's just the way that it works. And it's the same with the Ethereum blockchain. If you want to swap an ERC20 right now on Uniswap, you have to hold or you have to hold Ethereum. So I guarantee you, everybody in this chat and everybody that holds Saitama has at least a little bit of Ethereum in their wallet, whether it's $20 or $40 or whatever. The same is going to be with Saitama. If you're going to utilize our platform, you're going to have to be a holder of some capacity. And the more you want to utilize the functions, the more Saitama you're going to have to hold. So it'll be an ongoing event, of course.
Can you tell us a little bit about the e-gaming partnership?
Yeah, so this is huge. So let me digress a little bit because I did see some questions about the contract and the press release that we did, and people were asking if we were going to be releasing and launching a new token, or I guess sister token affiliated with Saitama and the BlazeFire games. So we're not launching any kind of sister token, so to speak, that will be affiliated with BlazeFire games. What we're doing is in collaboration with esports and competitions through these HBCU campuses. So what we're looking at doing is creating specific tokens. They'll be Saitama tokens, but they will be branded specific to that university. So these HBCU campuses like South Carolina State or Howard University, it'll be a Saitama token with the Howard University logo embedded in it. So we will mint like a fair amount of these, and they'll be utilized on these esporting competitions, specifically to that university. So those are the tokens that we're talking about creating, and that'll be integrated into the SATA wallet, but they'll be unique to the esporting events that are going to be held on these campuses. And we now, with our partnership and collaboration, will have access and contractual obligations with every single one of these universities to host, to have an affiliation in some form or manner with every single esporting event taking place across all those platforms. And like I said, what it does is it brings all that attention and all those eyes back to Saitama, because you're going to be in this esport event, all you're going to see is Saitama, and it's going to make you, obviously your curiosity is going to take over and be like, what is this Saitama? I keep seeing it everywhere. Now I have this Howard University token with a Saitama logo on it. And these are all ways that we funnel the public back to the Saitama brand, back to the SATA wallet, back to what we are, back to our original premise of this project, and that's the Saitama token. So that collaboration in itself is going to feed into a lot of other events. That's just part of the esporting events that we're kind of taking over right now. There's a lot more to come on that as far as building. I can't go into too much detail, but just know that it's a massive, massive concept that we're building and constructing that will roll out into 2022 and on for, for the next, I mean, we're under contract for years. So this thing is going to continue to snowball into something huge, on every single university worldwide. And then it's rolling into our education platform. Now you have education content connected to the esporting events. So it's just, like I said, it's always funneling back to the brand. It's brand awareness, brand recognition, and it's all going to funnel into the Sata wallet. It's all going to funnel into the company name, and it's going to draw attention to what the premise of our project is, and that's the Saitama token.
That's amazing. And I'm seeing in the chat, people are asking about Coinbase and Binance down the road. I did see an article earlier today said there was rumor that Binance was considering to list Saitama. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, they'll list us. They're all going to list us. I mean, it's not a question of if, it's just a matter of when. I mean, I get approached daily by almost every single exchange on the planet. We are the next big thing. I know that there are probably a small percentage of people that may have their doubts still, but we are the next big thing. We are the most looked at and most attention grabbing project in cryptocurrency right now, hands down. You don't have to look far to see. You can look at the analytics anywhere you go, and we dominate everywhere on every platform. Whether it's a hashtag, whether it's a Google search, whether it's traffic derivative through the website, we are dominating on every aspect of marketing. The volume in itself has been tremendous. Over 7 million or 8 million, I think, yesterday in volume total. So the platforms, they don't care about really anything else. What they care about is hype and transactions and volume. So now that our volume is increasing, our holder count is increasing, we're getting a lot of opportunities to list on different platforms. And as I mentioned before, we don't really need platforms. We don't need centralized exchanges because we're generating our own. So why leave the house when you can get it at home, kind of thing. And that's not 6 months away or a year from now. That's November. So we're in September. It's 2 months from now. And when they come knocking and Binance and Robin and they're like, hey, we want to list Saitama, of course we'll let them. That's not a question. Of course we will. I know that Binance wants 200,000 holders. Yeah, and we won't pressure them. I guarantee they'll probably list us before we get to 200,000 holders, just from the amount of attention and volume that we're getting. Because realistically, in the DeFi space, I can't think of any other projects that have as much potential. And this is not knocking any other projects. I'm sure there's plenty of great ones out there, but the potential, the use case, the volume, the community. All these things are not gone unnoticed in a lot of these platforms. Like, they have people specifically that keep an eye out for hidden gems such as this one, because they want to list them first, because they want to get a piece of that volume. They want to get a piece of those transactions. That's how these companies, they make money. Binance and KuCoin, they're not in it. They're not pro bono. These are major corporations that make a ton of money. Every time you do a trade or a swap or withdrawal or deposit on these platforms, they're making money hand over fist. So of course they want to have volume. Of course they want to have, the next big token, the Dogecoin of January 21. Saitama will dominate the space for the rest of the year and continue to do so for 2022. So they're going to want a piece. It's just a matter of when.
Most definitely. And I wanted to ask you, how does it feel to lead such a strong community like the Saitama Wolfpack?
It's great. I mean, it's an honor honestly. I have a lot of you guys know I have a pretty extensive military background too. So, I'm not unfamiliar, with leading from the front, and it's something that I hold near and dear and passionate about. Um, and I feel honored, of course, to have the support that we receive, like the ongoing support from the community, just everything, the positivity. I don't think I've really seen anybody in the community have a negative approach to anything. It's always nothing but positive interaction. Even when we've, delayed on launching the website for a few days, I didn't get any, you know, grief about that. Like, oh, you guys said it was going to be Wednesday and now it's Thursday and it's still not out. It's like, and a lot of that has to do with our transparency and keeping, the public and our community up to date in what we're doing, and being fully transparent with everything that we're doing. So there's no hidden agenda. There's no sketchy stuff going on behind the scenes. Everybody, I'm sure you guys know that, what we're doing is voluntarily. And even though we're a corporate structured company, and I'm not receiving a paycheck, nobody's getting paid. We're still all doing this voluntarily, just like we have been from day one. So it really is the community that makes a difference, and it's I'm just glad to be a part of it, to be honest with you.
Most definitely. And where do you see Saitama like 1 year from now? What do you see for you guys?
Honestly, I think that we will be a top 5 currency in the crypto exchange in the next year. So September 22, I wouldn't be surprised if we were top 5 on every platform. Crypto.com, all these different platforms, CMC, all these things will be a top 5, not only in holders, but also in volume. And the reason I can say that in confidence is because of what we're creating, the partnerships we're establishing, the vision of this project, the vision of the company, and where we want to be. So I have an idea where we're going, and I know where I want to end up. And if we can even do a fraction of that, then we can be a top 5 cryptocurrency easily. I think our vision is very unique to any others that I've ever seen. And I feel like where a lot of other coins, I don't want to say fail because there's many successful projects out there, but where they lack is in vision. They are very narrow-minded in the point where they say, we're a cryptocurrency, that's all we're going to do. We're going to trade on, our goal is to get listed on Binance or Coinbase, and then we're done. We might add some incentive. We might create a blockchain, or we might do this or that, which is all good and great, but why stop there? Why are you limiting yourself to such small events? There's a whole world of opportunity out there for crypto. You just have to take a hold of it. You have to find your niche. You have to be able to grab an opportunity when it's available to you. And you can't just sit back and wait for it to come to you either. You need to be proactive and find that opportunity, make those connections, get in the niche you need to, talk to the right people. It's like having this amazing technology in your basement, and you created it as a kid, and it would take over and revolutionize the tech world, but you can't get it in front of anybody's face because you're not trying. You're not pushing it. You're not getting it out there to let these people see what you've done, for them to say, you know what, this is a great idea. Why didn't you bring this to us 10 years ago? Now it's already been discovered. Now it's already been done. Now it's irrelevant. But if you would have brought this to us 10 years ago, we'd be having a whole different conversation. So the way that crypto is right now is we are at the precipice of this. We're at the very beginning of a new industry aligning for crypto on a global scale. So now we have that tech in that garage, and we're shoving it in people's faces. Like, here it is.